Hello and welcome. I'm Pooja Sarkar, and you're watching Capital Ideas, our latest podcast from Forbes India, where we speak to leaders in the world of business, economics, and finance. Now, we are running up to the budget day, and it is an important budget this year because we've just been through a year where we saw pandemic, we've seen our GDP go down, and I thought, who better than getting someone who understands markets the best and also has his feet across financial services. We have with us Mr. Nirmal Jain. He is the chairman and co-founder of India Infoline. Thank you so much for being on our show, sir.
Thank you, Pooja. Thanks for having me here.
Great. I'll just start with the most important question that everybody has been asking. That it has been an unprecedented year for the Indian economy. What do you think will be the way forward for this budget? Because the FM has said it is going to be the budget of the 100 years. But what is it that you are expecting?
I think every crisis is an opportunity. And if we recollect 30 years ago, exactly 30 years ago in 1991, India had one of the biggest crises when we were just running out of foreign exchange. So technically, we were on the verge of bankruptcy. And from there, actually, there was a great trigger for, I think, since independence, we had probably the most radical reforms in 1991. And what we have seen in 30 years thereafter, the country has grown faster. And of course, a lot of wealth has been created, but many people have been lifted out of poverty also. So these have been much better 30 years than the 40 years before that. Again, similar opportunity has come, and I think this time is COVID. The challenging situation for government obviously is that COVID has caused many businesses to pass through unprecedented crisis, and many people might have lost jobs also. And the challenge is that how do you revive jobs? And to revive jobs, you need to revive investment. And to revive investment, you basically need to change the sentiment either by driving demand up or by making investments more attractive. So I think there's a great opportunity for India because I think few very, very specific things which are not related to COVID are that there's a general anti-China sentiment, not in India alone, but globally. And India can take huge advantage both on the investment as well as demand side. So what is happening is that amongst the emerging markets, India and China are two large economies that can absorb investment that is headed towards emerging markets. So China's loss can become India's gain, in that manner. Maybe not exactly, but to a large extent. And also, most global manufacturers are now looking at China plus one at least. The dependence on China is so huge in many products, many products. China is a dominant supplier for not only so many countries in the world that they're only dependent on China. They're waking up to the reality that it's not a great idea to be dependent on China. So India can become an alternative. It may take many years, but I think it's a great opportunity. So what we are expecting in the budget is a huge impetus to growth, investment. Government came out with PLI scheme, which is very good. That needs to be expanded, broadened, and deepened, and many more such things are required from the budget.
True. I'll come to the part where one of the most key important topic of our budget has always been the disinvestment. I'll come to the GDP and fiscal deficit later. To start with the financial disinvestments of this year, I think India. I mean, we've just done around 17,957 crore, which is far lesser than what we were anticipating. Obviously, the year has been also been bad, but capital markets really did well. Couldn't the government have sold some stocks over the counter, or how do you see this disinvestment number impacting our numbers?
No, you are very not true. Because see, fiscal deficit in this FY21, we may end with around 7.5 to 7.7% number, partly due to COVID-related stimulus, but also partly due to our almost kind of inability to get the disinvestment target or anywhere near the targets. I think the targets were something like 2,60,70,000 crores, if my memory is right. And what we have achieved is a very small part of it. Many reasons for this, but I think there's a great opportunity in the next year. I think government could not do BPCL disinvestment, which is a big ticket item for a variety of reasons. And obviously, government ministry is now very active. They're learning, they're understanding how capital markets work, how global capital markets work, and how should this process be driven. And the opportunity is very big. Next year, probably they can do IPO of LIC. which can be a big bang IPO and a huge disinvestment. See, what happens in a disinvestment for a country as big as India is that it can be very lumpy. And what it will do is that sometimes you can exceed the target, sometimes you're not met the target. So last year you not met the target. Probably this time you have an opportunity to do much more than whatever be the targets, and that can basically help to achieve your other objectives, primarily investment and growth. And let's see what government does this year. It's very important for the government to understand that capital market is sentiment driven, and so I mean there have been rumors or there have been things floating around that government might look at increasing long-term capital gain tax or STT. I don't think it's a great idea in an environment like this when people are looking at encouraging investment, encouraging flow for investment from all kind of investors, not only FDI but FPI also, and even Indian large corporation entrepreneurs should be encouraged to put in investment. So, the government should refrain from any changes which can be detrimental to capital market sentiment, and then I think they can easily not only achieve but exceed the target this year.
True. One thing I wanted to understand, there is very little window that the government really has to do a lot of these expenditure programs. How do you think the government is going to work around these programs?
So one is that typically, under normal circumstances, government will be very, very, but very, very wary and very careful about fiscal deficit, and you want to keep it at 3.5%, 4%. But now these are times when globally all governments, all central banks are printing money to come out of the crisis. And under normal circumstances, you'll be very scared about inflationary pressures that fiscal deficit can cause. But these are very difficult and very exceptional times. So government can take some leeway with fiscal deficit. So I don't think that if next year's fiscal deficit they target at 6.5% to 7%, it will be a disaster. It will be good. So the way to create room for investment and expenditure, which is a must for revival and creation of jobs, is to be a little flexible on fiscal deficit and to make sure the disinvestment targets are met, as we discussed. The process that started last year should culminate into something good this year.
True. And markets have had one of their best runs in the recent time. Now, is this sustainable is one question that everybody keeps asking on a daily basis. I mean, the moment the market drops, like today, I think the market dropped a little and everybody is again questioning the basis, fundamentals. Now, my question to you is, do you think that this inflows can keep coming in, or do you expect markets to now starting to taper off? Or is it anybody's guess?
Yeah, no. So inflows will keep coming, but they cannot keep coming every day. Okay, so nobody can really guess the market for a day or two or a week or a month, because there are a lot of forces that work on the market. And when markets had one-way run, then a correction is healthy. I mean, it has to take a breather and make sure that it consolidates and moves ahead. But if you ask me, I'm an optimist from a medium to long-term perspective. So any equity market investor has to have a horizon of 3 to 5 years. You can't just say, I have no expertise or skill to understand the intraday or a day traders market, but correction that is happening in the market maybe today and what has happened last couple of days is very healthy, and basically that is welcome also, and we shouldn't worry too much about it. But if you're investing in stock market, you can't take a call for a day or two. Take a long-term call, and Indian economy will do well. We are seeing a V-shaped recovery. Agriculture is doing good. Monsoon has been good. The recovery, whatever we are getting, is much better. The COVID second wave, touch wood, thank God, is not there in India. And in fact, number of cases are coming down, even when developed countries like UK and US are seeing a huge surge. So we are fortunate from that perspective. So I think all the building blocks for a strong recovery are there. So don't worry about short-term corrections in the market. Look at a medium to long-term, markets will do well.
You talked about recovery, and I was just going to come to the fact that everybody's been talking about there has been a significant recovery from December onwards, which is expected to happen going forward. In terms of your expectations from the budget, what is it that the top 5 things that you're looking for? Because it is also being said that the LTCG, the tax can come around. There are a lot of worries around markets also. What are the 5 things that you are looking out for?
Right. So I think these are times when you can think big. So globally, if you see most of the crisis, or after a huge crisis or war, there has been a time period of rapid growth, and that turns out to be an opportunity. So if you see the century's biggest crisis as World War, after that we saw how many economies, including US, Japan, they bounced back and did very well. So I think these are times, and the times to think big and not think small. So one big thing, I'll think that there's a status quo on the taxes, and government doesn't succumb to the temptation of putting COVID cess or whatever, because this small bit of money can be a sentiment dampener. And at this point in time, we want everybody to be a part of the revival process, everybody to feel good and invest more. Two, I think there should be a, whatever taxes, now GST has become a little more complicated with central state government both involvement, but whatever government can do about cutting taxes for a common man or for masses, so that the demand revival takes place, will be good. A huge investment is required. A very innovative and creative approach to raising money is required for all infrastructure, including road, port, power, airport is unprecedented. I think is what is required to be done. Huge capex is required in agriculture and rural India as well, and the focus has to be on demand and job creation. Partnership with private sector is also very important. So they should come up with more incentive and a stronger schemes for private sector to participate. And I think these are the times to be pragmatic. These are the times to be thinking big. These are times to be taking risk. When I say risk, is in terms of spend, fiscal deficit, and everything else, and and not trying to worry too much about the taxes or revenue, but believe that if there's a demand growth, then obviously taxes will automatically go up, and bet on that.
True. There's another part that I wanted to discuss with you, which is about your banking and moratorium, because now the moratorium stress is starting to show up in the banking ecosystem and largely so in the PSU ecosystem. How do you think it will pan out in the coming year? What really would be the impact on the economy of things that have happened last year in the coming year?
So I think moratorium was the right thing to be done, because when suddenly you see that businesses and livelihood has suddenly come to a standstill, obviously you do this, and every government in the world did something or other. And I think, as far as I understand, obviously everybody knew that after moratorium there'll be some stress, but that is in many cases less than expected, and recovery is faster. So many banks are reporting that things are getting back to normal faster. The slippages are not as much as many people feared. Collection efficiency is also improving. So I think it's just a matter of a couple of 2-3 quarters that you will see that things get back on track. And I personally think that there's nothing much to worry about, that particular part, which is, and actually now moratorium is behind us. So what we see in Q3 probably the worst, and then we'll see recovery after that.
Okay. And as per you, according to you personally, which are the sectors that you are betting on for the coming year, which you think will perform better?
So I think wide range, broad number of sectors will perform better when the economy revives. Obviously, agriculture related should do well, because monsoon is good, rabi crop will be good, and government will put a lot of support to this sector, given that farmers has become a very sensitive subject now. Then IT and pharma should also do well, because globally IT spend will really increase. Healthcare spend will also increase, not only in India but elsewhere. And these two industries have a huge export and overseas dependence, so they should do very well. Other than that, I think even commodities and metals should do well, because globally there is a bit of a short supply and commodity prices have been doing well. As many economies put a lot of money behind recovery, then we see that these sectors are doing well. Even capital goods and infrastructure should do well. So I think there'll be a more broad range of broad-based recovery in the market. And probably you can look at bottom-up stock picking, but I think more or less most of the sectors will participate if market does well now.
Okay. And lastly, before I let you go, what is the one advice that you would like to give the listeners to when it comes to what to watch out for budget, or what is it that they look out for while investing in markets in the coming year?
So I think budget is not such a great thing to worry too much about it. Over a period of time, of course, but everybody is expecting, because finance minister has said that this will be once in a century, once in 100 years kind of budget. So that is one. But if you're a long-term investor, then fine. I mean, it's not an event that should really change your view on the fundamentals of the economy or the companies. And two, investors must understand that these are markets which will be very volatile. People see opportunity as well as threat both, and then they tend to move in a pendulum in a wide swing. So don't leverage, be patient, don't worry about day-to-day mark-to-market movement, and have a long-term approach. Then I think you'll do well in the market. And businessmen also can look forward to, I think, a big recovery, and should bet on India and Indian economy. I think that's the best thing to do in the world today.
True. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Take care. Goodbye.